The Iceman cometh. I'm afraid that my condition has left me cold to your pleas of mercy. In this universe, there's only one absolute. Everything freezes. You are not sending me to the cooler. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
It's extras and epilogues. Open your ears. Lights, cameras, action. Movies and reviews that you might not know. What happens to your favorite characters? Let's get on with the show.
The dynamic duo must work together to stop a new pairing of the Cape Crusaders rogues galleries, and one of them's a real son of a bitch from taking over Gotham City. The other one's a woman. Tonight,
there's a third one.
Oh yeah, we'll get to the third one. Wait for it. It's extras and epilogues as we're winding down nostalgic November. And the theater has been open once again, but you might not be able to get into the theater today because it's encased in ice because the Ice Age cometh or something. This is Dalton's fault.
Yeah,
this is Dalton's fault.
It is. I'm sorry.
We're talking about Batman and Robin. Yes, you know the one. My name is Shannon Young. I'm going to be your host tonight. And not often on this show am I so regrettably the host, or do I feel so bad about being part of the show. Tonight's one of those nights. Here's why. I thought we were watching Major Payne, and we were going to have Cody Sandusky on. So I watched Major Payne today and thoroughly enjoyed it, to give a spoiler review for the film for this weekend. And so Hunter messages me right after I watched Major Payne and says, hey, we're actually doing Batman and Robin tonight with Dalton. Dalton's down. And I go, okay. Well, I thought I hated Major Payne. I ended up really liking it. Maybe the same will happen with Batman and Robin. Will it? Only time will tell. And now is that time. Your time is up. My time is now. Also here with us tonight, of course, Double H.
You two boys aren't going to start fighting over little old me now, are you?
You dangerously got close to C. Yeah,
that's transatlantic. That's a transatlantic accent, which apparently you get when you die and then are resurrected by random chemicals
and plants, and then they replace your blood with aloe. And oh my god! And the man who brought all the magic together, the Big D, Dalton Anthony.
Monkey business. He has like 4 lines in the movie, and I can't do Bane's voice.
I would like to retract.
I can't do Tom Hardy Bane voice.
I want to retract my criticism of Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze, because it's goddamn Citizen Kane compared to what I just watched.
And we're batting 2 for 2 on me being on this show and being a bad movie.
And you missed Terminator. You missed Terminator too.
Yeah, and then you missed Terminator.
The follow-up was going to be my dad's pneumonia's worst side effect was I wasn't able to do T2 with you guys. Because that was at least a good movie.
It's damn good. It got thumbs up across the board. It was fantastic.
Yeah. But it would have. I would have also given it 2 thumbs up. I had watched it the week before to get ready for it.
If we didn't use thumbs and we graded these movies like a report card, then it's appropriate you're here because this movie would get at least a big D.
Let's jump into the nitty gritty of it all. Batman and Robin, a movie so infamously bad it killed the franchise until Christopher Nolan resurrected it. Released June 20th, 1997, and true story. I loved Batman. I love Batman Returns. I really liked Batman Forever. I was so hyped for this movie when it was coming out that I had dreams about renting it from the store before it came out. That is how hyped I was for this movie.
I saw it twice. I was 12 and I saw this movie twice in theaters because I was 12 and I didn't know any better. And I thought it was great.
So I was 5 when it came out, and early on, not like Podzilla stuff, we talked about nerd, how we got into nerd stuff, and that wasn't at my house. There was no comic books. I had my wrestling action figures. That was it. And someone bought me the VHS. It had to have been Christmas. So I got it that following cycle, and then I got it again from my dad's boss on VHS. So I had 2 copies of it on VHS for a while. And it was like, you're a 5-year-old. It's an everyday movie. I watch Batman and Robin every day. It was this and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too. So that movie would have been covered no matter what.
Yeah.
But so yeah, whenever you guys asked me, I was like, I think I even told, I don't know if it was Hunter or Shannon who brought it to me initially, of like, nostalgic movie, what do you got? And I was like, Batman and Robin. It was Shannon.
It was.
Because I went and apologized to Hunter.
Yeah. He apologized,
Yeah, the first thing I got from you about this show was, I'm so sorry.
And, you know, when I saw this movie originally, I was, it came out in 97, so I was 15, so I probably saw it when I was 16, when it came out on video. And I didn't hate it. I didn't see it in theater, but I didn't hate it the first time I watched it because I was like, oh, it's more Batman. It's big, it's colorful. And it was big, and it was colorful, and that's about where it ends. But let's talk about the stats here. Directed by the great Joel Schumacher, who was legitimately great. He also did St. Elmo's Fire. Yeah. He did The Lost Boys. He did which is one of my favorite vampire films. He also did Phantom of the Opera, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. Do you have it in the trivia here? So you don't have it in the trivia, so I'll say it here. That this film, it's not all Joel Schumacher's fault. One, he apologized for the film after the fact. He really did.
So did Clooney. Rumor has it if you tell Clooney you saw this movie in theaters and he believes you, he'll give you $5 and apologize. That's a true story. That he will say, I'm so sorry, and he'll give you a $5 bill.
It was a mandate when they brought Joel Schumacher back that he had to make the movie more toy centric. They wanted to sell more toys. So part of the reason this movie is so over the top stupid is because all they cared about was selling toys. That was it. They didn't want to make a good movie. Yes. They wanted to sell toys. And if you remember, he did Clooney cameoed at the end of Flash as this Bruce Wayne. So poking a little fun, have a little fun with it, you know? Just have a little fun with it.
You gotta have it where you can get it, you know.
I think Joel Schumacher is a fantastic director. How he did this is a story in itself. Written by Akiva Goldsman, who also did Practical Magic and A Beautiful Mind. So it's not like this was just, you know, this wasn't McG. This wasn't Uwe Boll or whatever. This is a real writer.
Well, and I know you're getting to him, but also, I mean, the people who are in this movie, because Sarah asked me not long after it started, she'd seen it before, but she was being reminded of stuff in real time, and she goes, Uma Thurman, the first time that she busts out that weird transatlantic accent, she goes, wasn't she already passed? And I said, yes, Pulp Fiction was long since out at this point.
Yeah.
I said, but also, Arnie was past Terminator.
Yep.
And T2 for that matter. And Clooney was on ER.
Yeah.
I mean, these people were not unknown at this point in time. This was not like we're getting people together for the first time. I mean,
these weren't new actors. This is starring, and boy, it's a who's who. You have to say Arnold Schwarzenegger first because that was the deal he got. That's why he's on all the pictures in the preview picture.
And above everyone, he got literally. So when we use the phrase top billing, I know you guys probably know this, but for the audience members that might not know, that's a literal term. The reason they call it top billing is because your name appears first on the poster and in the credits.
Like Jack Nicholson in the first Batman. He wanted the Nicholson deal, basically.
And that's exactly what it was. Arnold wanted the Nicholson deal, and he got it for better or worse.
Also starring George Clooney, who was at this point, like you said, fresh off ER, maybe still on ER. He was the sexiest man alive.
He was still on.
Was this before or after From Dusk Till Dawn?
This would have been after. From Dusk Till Dawn
it was a year before.
I'm almost positive.
Year before.
Yeah, but
so
because we have the Dusk Till Dawn moment where you have a very attractive woman doing a random dance number, or like a random, not dance number, but like entrance. I was like, oh, that was Dusk from Dawn, or Dusk Till Dawn right there. That was cool. Whenever she was in the gorilla outfit, and then wasn't
very sexy, very sexy, that gorilla outfit. Also starring Chris O'Donnell, who is fine. I can't remember. I always thought he was too old for the role. He was too old for Robin.
Well, you know who was, here's some irony, you know who was supposed to be Robin, right?
Marlon Wayans.
Marlon Wayans was supposed to be Robin at some point in time.
Before Tim Burton got canned. For whatever reason,
it didn't happen.
Because Burton wanted Marlon Wayans, and the studio said, no way in hell.
But that was Batman Forever, right?
It was supposed to be a Batman Forever. Well, okay, so they did Batman Returns, and then when Burton was going to do Forever, he wanted Marlon Wayans, and he wanted Billy D. Williams back as Harvey Dent, and the studio said, no, you're not putting Marlon Wayans as Robin, and no, we want Tommy Lee Jones. So they paid Billy D. Williams out of his contract. He got paid to sit out. It was like for wrestling terms, as we all know, it was like WCW after WWE bought some of those contracts. They just sat at home and did nothing. Also starring Uma Thurman, who I really had to turn around because I never liked Uma Thurman. And then in the past couple of years, I really liked her. And then I rewatched this movie, and I have 2 thoughts on her in this movie. Is 1, you wouldn't know she was an actress if you watch this film. And 2, she's very attractive.
Disagree, but we'll talk about
she's
it.
very attractive. She did that extremely well.
I think she's an incredible actress in this movie because I think she's the only one who figured out how bad it was going to be and decided to just lean right into it.
She did do that.
She's
That's
not
true.
chewing the scenery, she is devouring it.
Yes, and it's very bad in a good way. I get what you're saying, and I agree with you.
It's campy.
It's
I mean, it's
campy.
100% campy. And I think that's where the accent comes from, because Sarah pointed it out first. Like, why is she doing that transatlantic, like, well, come up and see me sometime, boys? And I'm like, because that's the parody movie voice.
Yeah.
That's what you do, right? Like
that's
when you're going to jokingly be in a movie, that's how you do it. And it seems like she figured that out.
Like I told Lady Freeze when I pulled her plug, this is a one-woman show.
A one-woman show.
Acting.
I can't do the voice.
That's the bit.
Yeah. Also starring Alicia Silverstone, Crush That Crush Button. This was her coming off of this was after Clueless, I believe. And
After Clueless,
yeah. So she's also very pretty, and she's in this film, and she acts in it. Michael.
No, she doesn't.
I never know if I pronounce his name wrong. Michael Go, or is it Gao? How do you pronounce his name? He plays Alfred.
G-O-G-H, it's Go, I think.
G-O-U-G-H. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's that's a good question.
I think it's Go.
And then, of
It
course,
looks like
I want to
Michael
find out.
oh God, what is it? He played Jason Woodrue. He's one of my favorite actors. Now I can't think of his
We're
name.
all wrong. It's Goff.
Goff.
Michael Goff.
Oh,
Yeah.
like cough. Okay.
It's something
British.
Glover. It's something Glover. Donald Glover. No, that's a different guy. John Glover.
No.
It's John Glover.
Don't say that name.
John Glover plays Jason Woodrue. I love John Glover. He's also in this movie, boy. And then
He got the sweetest deal. He was in and out of it within 25 minutes.
he got to kiss Uma Thurman, and he was gone. Good going.
So did Jesse Ventura.
That
I
was
told
my,
Sarah after it happened, I said, I completely forgot, and this is now one of those like ridiculous, stupid bits of trivia that will stick with me, that Jesse Ventura kissed Uma Thurman in a major motion picture.
I think it was
That happened.
I'm pretty sure he was in it because of Arnold. Like Arnold was like,
It had to be.
yeah.
It had
I got
to
a
be.
guy.
Yeah,
I know
there's
a
no
guy.
way that wasn't the
I know a guy.
uh,
And
that was my IMDb moment whenever I heard his voice. I was like,
Good.
wait
It's
a minute.
100% him. Yeah.
And of course,
Gotta
Coolio.
stay in that. Now I just feel like Karrion Cross. You gotta stay in that blue light there, Artie, or you're not. Come on, don't tell me you can't stay in there, Arnold. So fucking stupid. Oh my god.
He had to stay in the blue
can't.
light, or he would
He's
die.
gonna stay in the blue. That's where it's cold in the room.
Oh,
Apparently,
my
it
God.
doesn't affect the other guys there, but
Well, they weren't directly in the light, Hunter.
weren't they though?
Oh,
I mean, they might have
my
been.
God.
That's what's hanging you up about this movie is the blue
Oh.
light.
That's the one. I couldn't get
That's the
past
one.
it. I couldn't move past it.
And
I'm not-
Coolio is in this film.
Coolio.
Now I bring
He's in
that up for a reason. It ties into your trivia. So one of the trivias you put on there, it says it's rumored that several sequels and spin-offs were planned for this film, but scrapped due to the universally negative reaction, including Batman Unchained, a direct sequel with Scarecrow and Harley Quinn as villains, an untitled Robin Nightwing film, and an adaptation of Year One with Kurt Russell as young Jim Gordon, and Tim Burton's Superman Lives
Sounds
with Nick
awesome,
Cage.
by the way.
So originally, I was actually reading about this. They wanted Nick Cage to play Scarecrow in that movie. In fact, Joel Schumacher visited Nicolas Cage on the set of Face Off and had talked to him about it, right? But Coolio said that they were going to put Nick Cage in this film, and Joel Schumacher confirmed this. They were going to put Nick Cage in this film as Coolio's character, Banker, at the races, and it was supposed to be a tease to introduce Scarecrow in the next film, and originally Scarecrow was going to be played by Coolio. He was told he would be Scarecrow, and then found out they were going to give the part to Nicolas Cage after the fact, and the movie got canceled, so it didn't matter. But we almost had Coolio as the Scarecrow.
Oh, what a ridiculous mess. Yeah, of all those things that may or may not have happened, I put that on there because there were some of these things I knew about and some I had not heard about at all. Really, mainly it was just Superman Lives. We've heard a ton about Nick Cage being Superman, right?
Yeah.
Especially because he did technically show up in that Flash movie you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Batman Unchained sounds ridiculous.
Well, hold on.
At a certain point, why are these people being paired up? It made no sense to pair up Freeze and Poison Ivy.
Hold on.
It makes no sense to pair up Scarecrow and Harley Quinn.
Let me pitch it to you because I read what the script was supposed to be. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh boy, nope.
So Harley Quinn is the daughter of the Joker in this one, and she's
that's good.
And she's trying to get revenge on Batman. So she teams up with Scarecrow, who uses his fear toxin to drive Batman insane. They drive him insane, and he ends up in Arkham Asylum, where he basically fights all of the people he faced in the previous films in his head. Basically, it's basically Batman Arkham Asylum, the game. He fights. So it starts with it brought Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones back as Riddler and Two-Face. It had Catwoman in it. It had Penguin. They were all going to cameo. And in the end, he would have to face off against the Joker in his head and basically overcome his madness so he could escape and stop Scarecrow and all that. And it was supposed to be a really dark movie. Schumacher said it was going to be the darkest film they had made, and it was supposed to be a complete turnaround from this movie. But of course, this movie did so badly, and there's no way in hell they would have greenlit a dark Batman movie at this point, because they had already turned him into a cartoon with this movie.
I gotta tell you, that sounds fucking terrible.
I would have watched it. I think if they could have...
No part of me is interested in anything you just described.
If they could have pulled it off, I think it would have been worth watching. Because that's my favorite part of the Arkham games.
Oh man, the whole movie takes place in the dude's head.
Most of it.
That's not going to drive you insane by the end of it. Like
most of it.
It was the worst part of Arkham Knight. That was like literally being like Joker showing up, who's been dead for a game and a half or like a whole game. Like that was the worst part of Arkham Knight.
Now, the only one of these projects that even sounds remotely interesting to me is the year one adaptation, bringing Kurt Russell in as young Jim Gordon. That would have been pretty cool, I think. But of course, then there's not a lot of other stuff being described for that. Who's playing Batman? What else specifically are we adapting? Because year one's a very specific book.
I think throwing a name around like Kurt Russell at that time period as a young Jim Gordon is kind of a stretch.
Well, it's also a cheat code, though, because Kurt Russell in the 90s... I'm good. Sign me up.
Well, sure.
I think, what's he doing? I'm there.
Sure.
I think a Robin Nightwing movie would have been cool. All right.
Yeah,
anyway,
but here's
so
the problem.
Movie,
not with Chris O'Donnell.
The problem is it's Chris O'Donnell. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
now,
you got to deal with him.
If it had been Marlon Wayans, on the other hand, you've got you've got instant access to so many other. Yeah. Imagine how many Wayans you can get for this movie, including Damon Wayans, who you can hear us talk about this Friday with Cody Sandusky when we review the film Major Pain. There's a Wayans for every day of the week. It's one Wayans a week.
A Wayans for all seasons.
But let's get back to this film. Runtime of 125 minutes, and you feel every second.
The first thing Dalton messaged me while he's watching is, why is this movie 2 hours long?
I was a little shocked myself.
How did I sit through a 2-hour movie as long as I did as a child? My attention was way better as a 5-year-old.
It's so long.
It's a series of 10-minute toy commercials. That's how.
Yeah.
Oh, that tracks. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think that would work on me at 32 at this point in my life, too?
It did. You have the toys. You showed them to us before we started the show.
Yeah, it's true. He's right.
Yeah.
He's got a point.
Thanks, McFarlane.
It's too long. It's way too fucking long.
Way too long.
You could have cut out all of the Alfred dying shit.
No. I thought
you didn't need that. You didn't need that.
I thought the relationship...
I know exactly where this is going.
The relationship between Bruce Wayne and Alfred was the only part of the movie that felt anywhere genuine.
The only thing that works.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the only thing that actually works.
Agreed.
All right, so here's how I feel about this movie.
I'm not done with the stats yet. I mean...
He's not finished.
We're still on the stats. My bad.
Yes.
All right, go ahead. My bad.
We're 20... Normally, we go about 5 minutes on stats, 20 to 30 minutes on talking about the film, and then 30 minutes on the epilogue and reviews. We're at 20 minutes, and we haven't even talked about the film yet. Let me finish this off. Budget versus box office. $160 million budget versus $238 million box office. It probably made some money. It made some money. It wasn't a bomb by any means.
Well,
it wasn't disappointing.
Okay, it depends. It also depends on when this figure kicked in. So at one point in time, the idea was that your budget does not account for your marketing, and your marketing is about half the times your budget. So multiply your budget times half again, and that's where you should be hitting just to make some money. If that's true, then it costs $80 million to market the damn thing, and that means it's a $240 million movie versus $238 at the box office.
I would almost say it probably was more because this movie was everywhere with marketing.
What I was going to say.
Yeah.
Right. It was all over the fucking place.
Because
but like overall, in '97, it's not a good movie again. But like the amount of shit that they made for it, like to sell, like
they probably made a lot of money on merch. Yeah.
But importantly, the studio doesn't make money on that shit.
Oh, okay,
That's
fair
not
enough.
generally how that works.
Arnold did.
Arnold made so much money.
Arnold made so much money.
I had a plush Batman with like a hard rubber like George Clooney head on it with a cape. Again, a lot of my childhood is tied up in this fucking movie.
That also sounds horrifying.
It, like in retrospect, really fucking is. I'm gonna see if I can Google that. Keep doing stats. I'm gonna see if I can find this.
I only ever had 2 Batman toys my entire life. True story. One of them was from the original Batman, or maybe it was Batman Returns. It was basically Michael Keaton, and he had the Batman suit on, but you could take it off. And he had like a turtleneck under it, and he was Bruce Wayne. It was a Bruce Wayne and Batman. And the other one was from this movie. It was like ice skating Batman or something, and he was like blue and stuff. I remember there were so many variations of the Batman toy from this film.
Yep. Yeah, a ton of them.
Do I drop $70 right now?
Yeah, you do. Critical
On
reception.
the show live.
11% critical rating on Rotten Tomatoes. That's 3.8 out of 10. 29 out of 100 on Metacritic. Generally unfavorable. And surprisingly, 2 out of 4 stars from Roger Ebert, who said, like the first 3 films of the series, it's wonderful to look at, but has nothing authentic at its core. My prescription for the series remains unchanged. Scale down. We don't need to see $2 million on the screen every single minute. I agree with him on that, because when we watched this film, when I watched this film today, my first thought was, this looks so expensive. It looks so expensive, but so bad at the same time. And Roger Ebert notoriously didn't like really any of the Batman films until Batman Begins. He liked Batman Begins a lot.
Yes, I was going to say the most controversial thing I think he says there is the first 3 films. He's saying that this is equally problematic to the other movies in his opinion, and I think that's a take, man.
It's not. It's not. All right, now let's jump into this film. I have a couple thoughts real quick before Dalton takes the board. I don't understand why they went back to the 60s campiness. It's so bad. There are so many bad jokes in this. I forgot the one that made me cringe the hardest because I thought we were finally out of the joke territory is when at the very end they bust in looking for Freeze and they're like where's the snowman? And then Alicia Silverstone says maybe he melted. And then George Clooney says he's hibernating. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Stop. You don't have to do this every goddamn line.
No, from that same section, to me, legitimately, maybe one of the worst lines in the movie. They try to give Clooney some serious shit as Batman to do that isn't just with Alfred and isn't just with his girlfriend. He talks to Freeze. You think it's dying, and he gives him this whole speech about, no, man, we saved your wife. I'm gonna show you who tried to kill her. It wasn't me. It was that other idiot you were working with. We saved her. All right, she's gonna be okay, but only if you're gonna get your shit together. You can't save her by being an asshole. You've got to work with us, and we're gonna work with you, and we're gonna get you better. And Freeze, in this hugely emotional moment, pops that little deal on his wrist, pulls out the little vials that are gonna save people's lives, his wife's life, and he hands it over to Batman and says, "Take 2 of these and call me in the morning." Are you
they
fucking
couldn't
kidding
resist.
Me?
And then,
they
by the way,
couldn't resist another joke. And you want to talk about Marvel stomping all over their emotional moments with jokes. This movie walked so those could run, if that's the case.
Hey, there's no comparison between the Marvel films and this film in anything except maybe budget.
Now this movie's way better.
They both include superheroes.
Yes. Again, bad movie. Any compliment I'm about to say, I will say first, horrible movie. Should have not been made. I fucking love Arnold Schwarzenegger in this so much.
Does he have one goddamn piece of dialogue that's not a joke? He does, right? It's one or two.
He doesn't, but it's funny every time. I literally stomach laughed whenever they start with the Mr. Snow Miser song?
No!
Which, by the way,
No!
yeah. And then Misbehaving comes up and says,
Oh my God.
And he just looks at her deadpan and says, I find that highly unlikely. And I fucking died laughing at that.
Okay,
I don't
hold
know
on.
why that tickled me.
Why? Okay.
Let's
I'm
talk about
trying to
that part
inject some
specifically.
logic here. Why is that woman there? Does she not understand his whole situation? She knows that he's doing this to save his wife. Right?
When you had Sugar and Spice in Batman Forever, they at least were henchmen of the Riddler. Right? She does, Misbehaving does nothing other than sit around in an ice room in her underwear trying to fuck a frozen Neanderthal from Austria. And
but time, I hear what you're saying, but time. Bald-iced Arnold could get it, though. That's an attractive man. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I don't blame her.
Bald-iced Arnold.
Could get it. Say the whole line. Could get it.
Why is this super serious doctor, this super serious doctor who's trying to save his wife, forcing his henchmen who are all dressed up like fucked up of caveman snowmen, he's making them sing along to a snow song. Get it? Because he's Mr. Freeze, and he's so intent. He's just sitting there like, come on, sing.
So serious. Also, why did any of these people sign up to work with him? What are they getting out of this?
Also, my notes.
What's the benefit of being there?
And also my notes. The only spin-off solo movie I want is Mr. Freeze just being shitty to his D1 hockey henchman. Again, because that whole fucking scene cracked me up. The more you look at it, the funnier it gets. They're only eating frozen meals.
It's frozen food. Okay, legitimately, I did not catch that the last time I saw this movie, and when it came up this time, I went, "Oh my god, they're eating frozen dinners!" Like,
so there are legitimately funny things about this. That was one. That whole scene.
It's not the comedy.
It's not the comedy. Yeah, allow me to hit you with the McBain.
There's a part later in the film where he's sitting there watching video of his wife and like their wedding day and stuff, and he's like, it's super sad. The henchman runs up and says, "You need to see this," and he frees him and goes, "I hate when people talk during the movie." Oh my god!
During the movie.
Oh my god! And then on the other side, you got Plant Bitch, who, as far as I can tell, she literally got dragged down, and then they replaced her blood with I don't know, chlorophyll or borophyll or something.
And her skin was replaced with chlorophyll, which I thought Sarah was going to go through the television. She was so mad about that line.
I need to remember that next time I see Sarah at work.
And of course she's got she charms everyone with her pheromones, and then they bid. There's a scene where they bid on her because everybody wants her, and Batman pulls out the fucking credit card that says forever. Never leave the Batcave
without it.
Oh,
great joke. God. The expiration is forever.
Should have told like Batgirl, tell that chick to read a book. She's the kind of chick that makes women like us look bad. Am I right, ladies? Oh my god,
girl power.
There was like on a legitimate filmmaking note, because we try to not just this is dumb and this is bad.
I'm saving any compliments I have from my review. It's all trash.
No, this isn't a compliment. I'm still angry.
Okay.
On a legitimate filmmaking note, I often talk about how much it irritates me when movies are just exposition dumps. And I get that movies that are intended for a younger audience have to have some kind of that. You cannot necessarily expect kids to understand what's going on, so you sort of need a character to say, here's what I'm gonna do. This is why, like, children's villains often say, here's my master plan, and they lay it all out. This movie is exposition the movie.
Yeah.
Every character at any given point in time doesn't just do what they're doing, they tell you what they're doing, or they tell you what another character is doing, or they just explain word for word what's going on. There were times, especially with Irwin, there were times that Poison Ivy would start walking and talking, and I would go, who the fuck is she talking to? There's no one there. She's just telling herself these things she's going to do.
I questioned why she teamed up with Mr. Freeze when it seems like they have very different goals in life.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. What a stupid pairing. What kind of sense does that make?
It makes some. Because, again...
Oh, God, Dalton, there's not an orange cat anywhere near you, right? So you can borrow a brain cell, because you're not going to make this happen.
Well, no,
It's
because
not going to work.
if we go back to just
I
natural
can see you
geography,
trying to get one out of the air. That's what I'm looking at. You're like, it's
like,
coming.
if Freeze would have succeeded in bringing in the second ice age, and they are the last two people on Earth, fuck you, Bane.
Oh, Adam and Evil. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh.
But after the ice age, like, Poison Ivy could resurrect the Earth with just natural terraforming, because that's what happened with the actual ice age. Everything blew up, ice happened, and then land happened.
Is that her power, though?
You were giving this movie so much credit.
Damn,
You're giving it
they
so much
didn't
credit
go that far.
Not deserved.
I'm sorry.
It didn't go anywhere near that.
It didn't,
and is
but
Poison...
it made sense to me.
Is her power that she can just, like, control all plants? And how
Yes.
did that happen from having chemicals poured on her? I'm very confused. When Joker...
The movie also doesn't know.
When Joker got
Right.
thrown into a vat of chemicals, the worst that happened to him was his skin got bleached and he
went
laughed
crazy.
more. This chick turned into a Venus flyho.
Full-blown super... Okay, hang on. I can only change so many
Look.
names in a row.
Is Plant Bitch going to be one of them?
They couldn't have sexualized Uma Thurman more in this film if they tried. When Robin says, I need a sign that you're going to turn over a new leaf, and God damn it with the buns!
Turn over a new leaf. Turn over a new leaf.
How about slippery when wet? Oh my
Oh my
fucking God. Is your thumb the only
Shout
part
out
of
to
you that's
jokes.
green? You just have to
Jokes I
find
didn't get
out.
as a kid.
Oh my God. It's
Whose name should be Venus Flyho, by the way.
clearly Kyrgyz. If I had to bet.
Obviously. Yeah, he is sad band, and I don't remember that one, so.
He could have also been Plant Bitch. Kyrgyz could have also...
I'm saving it. I'm saving it.
Go ahead, what were you saying, Shannon?
I was going to say, all right, I bombed on this movie for a little bit. You could talk a little bit about it. You could justify it a little bit. Go ahead.
No,
Give it a
there's not
try.
a lot to justify. The only thing I liked was Arnold. Clooney was an okay Bruce Wayne, except he can't deal with women that like him.
He's a terrible
Chris
Batman, though.
Yeah, and that's the issue with superheroes is sometimes you get like a really good Spider-Man, but you get a shit Peter Parker,
Right.
or vice versa. Clooney was a good Bruce Wayne. Like, it's not hard to be a rich guy when you're George Clooney, but the Batman was
acting.
very lacking. There's nothing I can compliment except for Arnold, honestly. But like the suits would look so cool, but then they put nipples on them. I was very
long, lingering shots of everyone's crotches and asses.
I
Yeah.
will say
A lot of ass.
it was really funny after seeing Deadpool and Wolverine.
But again, why? It's not a comedy.
I'm
No.
just saying I'm happy that Deadpool did that. Like, I'm
No.
happy that they made fun of it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Your Taylor's a real pervert, but
I
think
refuse
he's
to
a
believe.
predator.
I refuse to believe
Oh.
anyone read this script and said this is not a comedy. There's no way they read this script and said this
but
is
surely
serious.
it's not supposed to be. Surely the fucking studio wasn't banging for a comedy here. That's not what any of these movies have been.
It almost
They
feels
have
like
comedic
Joel
elements,
Schumacher
but that's it.
bombed it on purpose because there's no way anyone made this with a straight face. This is a parody film. This is a parody as a legit film.
Okay, you're getting ahead of me, but this is how I was going to sort of try to wrap this up because again, after this, we don't see Batman for a long time until they basically reboot the entire thing. There's a long-standing theory, and I say theory because no one intended it to be this way, but this is the sort of canonical exception that this movie is a Batman movie that takes place within the Batman movies. So what I'm saying is Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne would go into a theater and watch this unauthorized version of Batman on the big screen.
Kind of like dime novels in
And
the
that's-
West.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, basically. Yeah, that this is supposed to be a really heightened version of that, and it exists within the Batman universe, for lack of a better term.
Dalton, go ahead.
That is the only thing that kind of helps.
A couple of things. I love that Gotham is basically built on Mount Olympus because everything
Statues, man.
and like there's not a ground to be seen ever, which was real weird. I
Coruscant.
love that was another one. I was like, oh, this is very fucking Phantom Menace. Also, everything was super expensive, but everything was shot on what looked like a cheap sound stage that they just like put everything like that, every scene that actually happened was so congested. Like there's no space.
There is a shot, and this ties right into what you're talking about, and I promise I'll turn it back over. There is a shot of the exterior of the of Frieza's hideout when the cops are all there, and he's trying to sneak in and get his diamonds and all that shit. And the cop, I'll see if I can find a still shot. The cop car in the lower right hand of the screen is so obviously a toy. Like it's never more clear that this is a model and that it's made to scale so they can shoot it this way than when you see this fucking car and go, they bought that toy at Dollar General to film this shot.
Oh, and
it's so obvious.
And the diamonds, by the way. Can we talk about the diamonds for a second? This motherfucker. Oh. And look, the
second thing that pissed Sarah off beyond my skin is made of chlorophyll was he said, I need laser infused diamonds to power my cold suit. She's like, yeah, that's how science works. Fine. Fuck it, whatever. Fine.
I try to sound like a real, movie reviewer and journalist on there, but I'm cussing a lot on this because it's so fucking dumb. This thing with the diamonds, we made fun of this at GameStop for years. Me and Jesse and Kevin Shakelberg. It went from the diamond stuff to we started talking about having what was it? It was something to do with Skyrim and how you have to power your armor with dragon tears and shit like that. And Kevin would do the accent, and it was hilarious because it's so dumb. Why would you build a suit that requires one of the most expensive things in the world to run it? Why not set it to trash like Doc Brown did in Back to the Future? That's so much easier to get. You might as well have made it fucking unicorn blood you have to pump dead into the thing.
Such a weird fucking choice.
Because it's ice, Hunter. Get it? Diamonds are ice.
I will say, much like TMNT 2, the opening fight scene was actually legitimately fun. Taking out like the reverse shots of everything falling perfectly where they needed to. Like, I genuinely loved the hockey fight at the beginning.
Look, I knew it was going to be bad the moment Jim Gordon appeared on his screen and was like, Batman, he calls himself Mr. Freeze. It's so corny. It's the 60s.
Yeah. Sorry, where were they headed before that? They got soon enough they were headed out and then he gets the briefing?
They were on patrol. Oops, Batman's on patrol.
Awfully serious fucking patrol. And it sure is convenient that as they were driving out of the cave, they're just so happy.
Oh, and that they made sure to wear their boots that had the fucking ice skates in them too. Thank God for this one.
So that was my second part.
Here's the shot, by the way. I'm dropping it in the text. You take a look. You tell me that isn't the most obvious set of toy cars you've ever seen in your life.
I've never noticed that. Oh,
that's a real shot.
That's so bad.
Toy. That was an actual Batman toy. I had that.
Yes, they produced the toys before the movie so they could use them in the fucking movie.
That's so bad.
I never realized that. Man. If this would have been made 20 years sooner and had Burt Ward and Adam West, it would have been the best Batman movie ever.
Yeah.
Like it feels like Batman 66.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
pretty much.
Because again, that was like the first thing. Also, the bat heater thing, that like the little laser, that thing looked like a dildo. I'm sorry, it was literally, it threw me off. It looked like a dildo.
Hope you got about 10,000 more of those. Says Alicia Silverstone, just sleepwalking through this room.
She didn't give a single fuck. She couldn't farm one to save her life.
Well, that's because they were talking about how fat she was constantly, and she was probably depressed.
Oh my God. So I mentioned that to Sarah, and she goes, "You're fucking kidding me, right?"
Because she's perfect.
Yeah, she looks healthy.
Yeah,
she looks healthy in this movie, and apparently she was. And Joel Schumacher, to his credit, again, we were talking about it earlier as him being a great director. I put it in the trivia. He stood up for her a lot. There was a female reporter that asked him about her, gaining weight. Did they have to reshoot some scenes, etc.? And he literally said, and I quote, "With so many young people suffering from anorexia and bulimia, why are you crucifying this girl?"
Amen. I love Joel Schumacher.
He got questioned about that all the time. She got questioned about it all the time.
It's
and
ridiculous.
Of all the stupid fucking things you could complain about this movie, that ain't it.
No.
You picked the wrong fucking horse to back on.
The only person in this movie that isn't ridiculously attractive is the little wiener boy that got to play Bane before they jacked him up on Mountain Dew.
That's true, yeah. Because again, let me say, bald Icy Arnold can get it.
What about sickly green, brain dead, got to push a button on his chest to activate him Bane?
Hey, I'm going to talk about it in the epilogue section.
Okay.
No one
Okay.
kicked that hose until the very end, and then suddenly it was just disconnect.
Hunter, all I
that.
heard them saying was, Bane said he was going to give me the venom.
Let me show you terror.
Okay, Don, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to talk about my epilogues, but we got to do everything else first.
All right, let's get to the review. Let's get to the reviews.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a good movie. There's things I liked about it, but
hold
it was
on.
bad.
We take turns, and you get to go last because you get the final word as the guest.
Wait a minute. But don't you think that I should... Oh, never mind. My bad.
All right, Kaz.
Wrong joke.
All right, Kaz. It's time to review the film, and I'm really curious to see how this goes. Now, on this show, we have a 5-point system. 2 thumbs up, or I guess it should be 2 frosties up means you love it. 1 frosty up means you like it. 1 frosty up, 1 misbehaving down means you don't like it. No, you get where this is going. Famously, very few films on this show have gotten 2 thumbs down across the board. The one we always bring up is Dog Soldiers. Will tonight...
It was the first.
Will tonight be another one? Will Batman and Robin hit the infamous triple down? Let's find out. I'll go first, and I'll say some things I did like about this movie, because I've been dogging it this entire time. Here are some things I genuinely liked about the film, and there are some things to genuinely like. It does feel like a comic book movie. It is big, it is loud, it is what you think of when you think of 90s comic book film. It does that very well. I legitimately love the colors. When it's soaked in neon colors, I thought that was visually cool. That was very pleasing to the eyes. I thought that was a very interesting choice to go with. There are lots of parts of this movie where the neon is just dripping. The part where they go to the where Bane and Poison Ivy go and take over the hideout, and they get confronted by the people who already live there. They're just in those neon those clothes. When they do the street races, sometimes just in the city, the neon lighting looks amazing. It really does. It's really good looking. I liked the plot between Alfred and Bruce Wayne, because you never really see that with Bruce Wayne and Alfred. It's always a very, stagnant relationship, but this movie kind of showed you that Bruce Wayne does care about Alfred. There is a family dynamic there. And Arnold's big and strong, and that's good. There's the problem with that. It's unfair to judge this based on your preconceived notions of what these characters should be. And I said that during my review. It wasn't an official review because we weren't doing the show yet. But when I talked about Batman versus Batman versus Superman, God damn it, I'm just thinking about this movie. In Batman versus Superman, I know Asa was critical of Batman because he killed people. And I always said, you can't judge an independent, version of it that is separate from like the comic version or whatever. Yes, you generally want to follow the same guidelines, but this is not the same character. You can do whatever you want with it. So I don't want to judge this movie based on what I know of the characters, but the biggest change and the biggest what the fuck were you thinking has to go to Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. The Batman the Animated Series episode with Mr. Freeze is one of the all-time classics. It is a sad, sad story that portrays Victor Freeze as a tragic figure. I don't know if they thought they were doing that with this movie, because he does love his wife, I guess, and cries sometimes, but then kills people and makes jokes about it. I don't know. But the departure of the character versus the source material is laughable. The same thing with Bane, but Bane I care less about because I really didn't know Bane very much at the time. The dialogue is atrocious. The puns are nonstop and horrible. The fight scenes are okay. The storyline's terrible. This is a very, very bad film. This is a very, very, very bad film, and it should only be watched ironically. And if you watch it ironically, you will probably have a pretty good time. If you watch this as a Batman movie, you are going to want to pull the plug on your own Venom and shrivel down into a little sissy boy who dies on the street. With that said, I'm only going to give it 1 thumb down. That might surprise some people. I thought there was enough little things that I liked that it didn't make me think this movie is completely worthless. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. It's bad. But you can enjoy it on an ironic level, and there were aspects of it that I really did like, just not a lot, but enough to keep me from saying this is the worst I've seen. I don't think my friend is going to have the same mercy that I have. because famously I'm a little bit nicer on this show, unless you're Space Jam: A New Legacy. So let's turn it over to Hunter and let's get his thoughts.
You know what else I like, ironically, is Neil Breen. Neil Breen also got 2 thumbs down, like this pile of dog shit. This fucking movie sucks. I say what you will about being obvious and being not surprising, and that's what I do. I cannot, in good conscience, give this movie anything more than 2 thumbs down. It's atrocious. It's atrocious from top to bottom. There are not little things that I like about this movie. I laughed at it a couple of times. Definitely not where it wanted me to laugh in any way, which would have been laughing with it, right? The series of decisions on display here is baffling. I cannot reconcile how you come out of Batman Returns and Batman Forever and get to here. Because while there is this kind of through line and we're meant to believe this is kind of the same person all the way, and yes, over time it kind of slowly gets more vibrant and a little sillier, there was already such a growing backlash against what happened in Batman Forever, and it being a little more cartoony, a little over the top. We kind of started to learn Tommy Lee Jones didn't really like working with Jim Carrey because their styles clashed and it didn't really make sense. Whoever then said, well, then let's just do more of that and sell more toys, was so short-sighted to not think, but you're going to sell more toys on a movie people want to see multiple times. And I'm not just talking about kids. Right? Because the right age kid can't go see a movie by themselves like this, or at least shouldn't be anyway. Somebody's got to go sit through this pile of shit with them. They're not going to want to do that multiple times when it's over 2 hours long and super bloated, when the dialogue is as cringy as it gets, the story is so ridiculous. It's incomprehensible to me that anyone went, this is a good idea. We should do this and run forward with it. I've seen this movie numerous times. This is not my first rodeo with this movie. Again, I saw it twice in the theater as a kid. Saw it multiple times over the course of the years from that point to now, of which there are like 25, so there's been a bunch of them. And I hate it more every time. Every time I get more and more frustrated with this fucking movie. The only thing that I kind of like about some of it, and I said this out loud when we were watching it, was Michael Goff is carrying this entire movie on his back. He's doing much work from his fucking bed. From his bed. He's doing so much work to try to make that side story about him getting sick, potentially passing away, work. And it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Clooney does his little Clooney head waggle, fucking laugh under his breath, smirk at everything, even when shit is serious. I don't understand those choices at all.
Why did Michael Goff think it was a smart idea Alfred think it was a smart idea to set the computer up that if Barbara got down there, he gave her a suit and said, go fight supervillains, girl from school. You could take them on, right? Why is she not British?
Why did she show up in her school outfit?
Yeah, from
England.
England.
Why did she come all the way to America in that?
With her clueless accent, too. Her Cher accent.
I also love... Well, okay, it was never said that she was British, so fair enough.
That's true.
I can go by on that. She went overseas to go to school. I love that the fucking world's greatest detective pulls off 2 great detective moves in this movie. Number one, he deduces that she goes to Oxbridge, which, by the way, they didn't want to say Cambridge or Oxford, so let's just jam them together. She goes to Oxbridge because of the crest on her sweater. Literally everyone can see that it fucking says Oxbridge. Also, this is not like a subtle detail. Also... when the police commissioner gives them the briefing, shows them the picture of Ivy and Bane, the worst Photoshop ever, getting off the plane where Bane's got the fucking Raphael hat pulled on over his mask, and then he looks at the footage of them and goes, that's definitely the same two people who got off that plane. Well, fuck, I'm glad Batman was there to explain that one. The cops in Gotham should instead be in their own asylum, and I'm talking about a mental institution.
Are we talking about the way they keep rushing towards the guy that freezes people with ice and get frozen by ice?
Shooting wantonly at him?
Yeah.
for some reason.
You know, I forgot to mention this. I thought the ice looked nice in parts. Hey, there you go.
Sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
I guess.
All right, so changed Hunter's mind. He's switching it now to 3 thumbs down.
Yeah, I can't stand this movie. I hate it. Every time it's on, it's too long. It's so dumb. Again, it killed the franchise for a reason, and nothing about watching it this time changed my mind.
Every time we watch a film like this, and Hunter gets so mad at it, I hug my Gremlins plushie a little tighter, and I go, "He's gonna turn around on you. He's gonna turn around on you," because we keep showing him the worst of the worst.
I at least get what Gremlins is trying to do. The thing that frustrated me the most about it was that it decided halfway through to not do that anymore and be a different movie.
Why? I know you said it's never said she's British, and I agree, but it's Alfred's niece who's in England.
They're all British.
You would infer that they're all British.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm fully willing to backtrack and go, all right, that sucks too.
We got you.
But one like it, I'll do it, and I'll like it myself.
Gotcha. All right, Dalton, salvage this. Tell us why you love it and why you're giving it 1 thumb up.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Because I don't like bastardizing y'all's show. I respect what we do here, what y'all do here, for real. And that's not even sarcasm. I'm not doing a bit. I really like this show. Elliot Goldenthal was the composer of this movie, and he did really well.
I thought it was Elfman. That's how good he did.
Yeah, because I also thought it was Elfman.
I couldn't believe that.
Let me see. No, this movie fucking sucked, guys. I'm sorry. 5-year-old me sucks. Just as hard as 32-year-old me sucks.
A 12-year-old me saw it twice, willingly, voluntarily.
We didn't have a theater in Perryville at the time, so I didn't get to see it in theater.
I had to go to Sykeston, I'm sure. I'm positive I saw this either in Sykeston or in Cape.
Yeah, like
you can't.
I'm gonna 2 thumbs down. But like, if you're gonna, there's some movies that, like, some superhero movies, it's like, hey, you want to watch that first Suicide Squad movie or Batman and Robin? We're bat nippling up.
Great.
If you're like,
I'm the one that saved this movie. I'm the one that gave it 1 thumb down. Thanks a lot. I was hoping you would back me up.
I was going to give it 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down.
What? Your own opinion?
Yeah.
Well, no, because you said it, though. You said it, no takesies, bagsies, because I was going to give it 1 thumb down so my movie didn't get all thumbs down, but then you did that so then I could be honest.
Son of a bitch.
God.
If you were just like, you want to see... If you were just like, you want to see Batman v Superman or Batman and Robin, I'm picking Batman and Robin. No! Because I will at least... No, I will at least find...
I told you were going to step on this landmine, and you did it anyway.
Well, because he said it, so I'm going to say it. Because at least there are things I can enjoy about this movie. Is it a good movie? No. I've 2 thumbs down for a reason. But if it was like, ironically, if I'm going to watch something stupid, like, I will happily watch this movie. I won't rent it on YouTube again. Hunter, by the way, just so you know, Hunter said he does have an HBO Max account.
You paid money for a movie you could have watched for free.
Suddenly I don't feel so bad about that 1 thumb down. I didn't pay for it.
Yeah, so it's not a good movie. There's concepts of a good movie in here.
Okay,
like there's some things they did that I was like, oh, okay, cool, but then like they could have gotten into the reason that Freeze and Ivy was a logical pairing. They didn't. Bane is a lot better than a super tertiary character in the background. They didn't even learn that in 2011 or 10. Yeah, no, it's not a good movie. I hated Uma Thurman in this. Even if it's what you said where she's like, oh no, she's leaning into how bad it is. No, because like Arnold also I don't think was doing his best work, but was still super enjoyable.
I think he was. I think Arnold thought he was knocking it out of the park.
I've seen him do better.
He's a good actor.
If you were just like, what would you give Arnold Schwarzenegger's rating in this movie? 2 thumbs up. Everybody else is 2 thumbs down. He saved it for me, where I was like, well, at least this is fun. Man. Yeah, no, it's not a good movie. I'm sorry, guys. Epilogues now? Epilogues, are we going on to
you
it?
Don't
trying
have
to make this better?
Buddy, you don't have to apologize, but let's go to the epilogue.
No, you don't.
I watched I watched the movie 3 hours ago. I need to apologize. I am so sorry.
Don't forget, I'm the
Clooney still
person.
does, so
I'm the person that made everyone watch a Neil Breen film for the first movie of the year. So I've still got
and Mad God.
Look,
It's not
I
bad.
thought
It's
Mad
just
God was
worse
going to
than
be
Mad
good.
God.
I thought Mad God was going to be good. Bob said he liked it. He really disappointed me. All right. Batman, Robin, and Batgirl head to Gotham Observatory together to stop Mr. Freeze. Batman defeats Freeze in combat while Batgirl and Robin incapacitate Bane and thaw the city. Which, by the way, he sat there and froze that city that entire time. There's this big convoluted thing where they get a heat ray to thaw everybody out. How is that heat ray not? If it's melting ice that quickly, how is it not killing people or setting people on fire?
Because it's not necessarily a heat ray.
How
it's
do
a
they
sun
not
ray.
die when they're
Oh my God.
frozen in the first place?
Yeah. I told Lindsay, I was like, when they thawed them out, and they were like, "Oh, thank you." I was like, "That's not how freezing to death works." I don't think.
No.
You're not.
no.
It's not fucking carbonite. You're not Han Solo.
Right. You're not just preserved in the moment there.
You're dead.
No, you were. The doctor, the scientist's glasses were like 3 inches above his head.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my God.
Freeze accuses Batman of taking Nora's life, only to be shown a recording of Ivy admitting to the crime, which Lindsay rightfully called out. Wow, it's really cool. He recorded that when he was tied up in vines.
Yeah, he also recorded it from the exact same perspective
Of
as
the
the movie camera.
Well, you think they had
Interesting how
time
that
to do
works.
2 shots?
Batman reveals that Nora survived somehow. It's Palpatine. Nora survived somehow.
Somehow.
And offers Freeze the chance. How did she survive? And offers Freeze the chance to continue his research on McGregor's syndrome in exchange for his cure. Freeze accepts and returns to Arkham, where he is imprisoned in the same cell as Ivy, upon whom he plans to take revenge. Of course, that's a
Why?
good idea, right? Put
Why?
these two together in a jail cell. This mentally traumatized woman now, and this hulking monster of a man who wants revenge. Yeah, that's gonna go well.
Yeah.
Alfred is cured, and Bruce and Dick agree to let Barbara join them in fighting crime, and then it has one of the absolute worst ending shots of all time of the three of them running towards the camera with the light. And I legitimately thought to myself, I bet they filmed this almost first. And when they did it, they thought, we're in for a journey. Because if they had filmed this at the end of the film, there's no way they would have put so much oomph in their step. Them motherfuckers would have been walking, or at least crip walking.
All
They
the
weren't
way to the
super-
bank.
No, I
All the way to the
like that.
bank.
I actually did like that ending shot a lot.
Wasn't that the same one from Batman Forever, though?
Yes.
I think so,
Just
yeah.
with
all the
Barbara?
women
Good
dead.
It was
good
okay then. Also, I don't appreciate the fact that Robin's outfit is basically Nightwing.
Yeah, so are we getting to epilogues?
We're in epilogues now.
All right, cool. Let's just go fucking full Hush. Hush comes out in 2002, so it's 5 years later. Let's just, we're already putting 3 fucking villains in this. So, all right, let's get Nicole Kidman back as Catwoman. Chris O'Donnell becomes Nightwing.
Hold on.
What?
Nicole Kidman was never Catwoman. You mean Michelle Pfeiffer?
Nope.
Nicole Kidman was the psychiatrist in Batman Forever.
Oh, my bad. Michelle Pfeiffer, my bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, my bad. Get Pfeiffer back for Catwoman. Fuck it. Chris O'Donnell becomes Nightwing. The suit's already there. I'm looking at the toy. The suit's there. Make it blue.
Just grow his hair out.
Yeah. Mullet's fine. Make Jonathan Taylor Thomas as Robin. Fuck it.
That's a very specific person.
Because I'm casting. Because my main villain was going to be Bane. I was saying do Nightfall, and I was like, oh, no, just do Hush. Because honestly, what I would love is just have Antonio Banderas be Bane, because we done recasted everybody in this goddamn series. So Bane can get recasted, and then have Bane be actual Bane, where he's like...
Bane's dead, man.
Did he die?
Jeep Swanson died too.
And they left little Stephen Bright Bane, little Styx Bane on the floor as the whole thing collapsed. Pretty sure he's dead.
Oh, it's fine. Fuck it. It's a superhero movie,
Hey,
but have Antonio Banderas
sure.
be Bane, because again, that would actually be fitting for the character.
And that would be
the
cool
actual,
too. He's too
That would
sexy.
be dope as fuck,
Yeah.
right? And then just do Nightfall or Hush. Fuck it, because them coming up with their own story didn't work that well.
I would have watched Batman Unchained personally. If they could have made it a horror film.
What even is that title? What is that?
Well, he's off the chain. There's no more
God.
chains on this Batman.
Would you say that he is?
When was he chained?
fuck.
How much you want to bet also if they threw him in Arkham Asylum in Batman Unchained, they still wouldn't have taken his cowl off. They would have just been there as Batman.
Yeah.
They would have never taken it off.
Still be that the whole time. Yep.
Here's my epilogue for it. Shut it down. Shut the whole thing down like they did.
They did.
That's the only way that this could have come out correctly. They could not have made another film with Schumacher at the head. And I don't think Schumacher wanted to make another film. It's like when Burton went on to do what they were talking about him doing forever. He walked in with his ideas, and when he read the room, he said, you don't want me back, do you? I think Schumacher knew his time was coming too. But that's okay, because then he went on to do Phantom of the Opera. He went on to do other films. And I will say, Dalton's laughing. I got to get this out before he tells me, before we all have a giggle. I thought the Nolan trilogy was just okay, and that might get me in trouble for saying that. I thought Batman Begins was pretty good. I thought Dark Knight was fine, and I thought what was the last one? What was the last one?
Was it Rises? Batman or Dark Knight Rises?
I thought it was terrible. I thought
we can fist fight over the Dark Knight because that's legitimately the best Batman movie ever made.
Well, I think it's a very good film. I'm sorry, it's a very good film.
It better than time really quick. Better than 89?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
No.
It's a better movie and it's a better Batman.
Better movie. The Dark Knight is 100% a better movie. Yes.
No.
I will.
Disagree.
I love Jack Nicholson. It's still a better movie.
Disagreed.
Yeah.
But I don't want to fist fight you over it. I would just have a difference of opinion because I think
he's gonna fight you over it.
They're both very good films. There's only been two Batman films that I thought were bad, and that's
Batman
this movie.
V Superman?
No, that's this one and Dark Knight Rises. I liked Batman v Superman. I liked the director's cut even more. I thought he was even better. I love Justice League.
He needed an extra 45 minutes to tell that story.
You've never even seen it, have you? You've never even watched it, probably. You don't even know.
Rises?
You don't even know
Batman v Superman. Yeah, I have.
You don't even know who Jack Snyder is.
Jack Snyder.
Okay, that was a choice.
I would like to see a film that focused more on Alicia Silverstone and her weight troubles. Like if Batgirl could just have had an eating issue, I think that would have made the film more serious. And you could have gotten Angelina Jolie. I think that movie was called
Excess Baggage. That's not one I got kicked out of when I was a kid.
Wait, was her weight the excess baggage?
At the end of that, I guess what happened at the end of that movie. Yeah, if I remember correctly.
She's perfect in this movie.
It will forever blow my mind that that's an actual thing that people said to him in interviews and to her, for that matter.
Man, the paparazzi are shitty, man. I grew up in journalism. I took journalism in college. It's what I wanted to do. And I will tell you, journalists are garbage. Me especially. Dunner,
wait.
What about you? What would you like to see from this franchise going forward?
I mean, I really don't hate the idea that you write this off as a Batman movie from within the Batman universe. So that's where you can't do year one that way because year one takes place before all of that stuff. But if you're going to follow up with any of the stuff that was talked about, some version, I guess, because Superman Lives was going to be them attempting to establish a cinematic universe. Before the MCU was a thing, the idea was that Burton wanted to make Superman Lives with Nick Cage, and that was going to tie back in, because Batman references Superman in this movie.
He does.
He says earlier on, this is why Superman works alone, which, by the way,
yeah,
Freeze and Ivy are going to take over the world, and they think just because they got past Batman and his
Superman's not going to be right there,
that Superman's not just going to walk in. Superman, who, by the way, famously has fucking heat vision.
Well, Hunter, just for the record, Batman could beat Superman if he had 5 minutes to prepare.
Within time, right? Yeah,
shut the fuck up.
And there is enough precedent within the comic books that Poison Ivy is a pretty hard counter to Superman.
Not if Superman flies to space and nukes her.
This movie is not doing that legwork again. You are
you're putting more effort into it than deserved. Yeah,
I like the idea that whatever the follow up is treats this as like a joke, because it was a joke. Treats it as like oh my god, I can't believe we actually sat through that in the theater, and it's a one line joke about how this was a movie about ridiculous shit happening in Gotham. I would have been fine with that. I would have been fine with some version of that. And past that, that means you get to do whatever you want, right? Any follow-up that just continues that story. So, frankly, I don't, here's probably where we can really come together on this. I think whatever that movie is, brings Clooney back and treats him like an actual fucking actor. somebody who's legitimately good at their craft and knows what they're doing. Because George Clooney is a good fucking actor.
He's a great actor.
He's very much have been a very good Batman. I know the like, oh, you can't be a good Bruce Wayne and a Batman or whatever. I get that, and I understand that there's some comparisons to be made. But I think anybody could be a good both of those guys with proper scripting and proper directing.
Case in point,
I think he's very
Robert Pattinson. Everyone said he was going to be a terrible Batman. He was actually pretty good.
He was good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Christian Bale for the most part.
Yeah. Everyone.
Christian Bale was great.
He's a good Batman. Yeah. So he did that
so
voice.
Frankly, I think that that's what you do. And whether that ends up being whatever Batman Unchained was supposed to be, which again sounds awful to me, but whatever that ends up being, it treats this as this is the movie that is a dream, but instead of a dream, it's a movie. That's what it is. It's a movie within a movie, and that's it.
I'm starting to turn on the title Batman Unchained. I'm starting to think that's not going to test well.
It would be really cool. So this would never happen, obviously, and they would have never done this to their own movie. But the next Batman and Batman and Robin 2 or whatever the fuck they'd call it, movie theater, they walk out, Dick and Bruce walk out, and Bruce be like, "Is that what they really think we do?" And then they legitimately do a story with Antonio Banderas as Bane and somebody else's Poison Ivy and a different Mr. Freeze, and they have to and they make an actual good movie with those do the same movie but good.
Now
it's just called Batman Apologizes.
Batman Redemption.
We did a good one this time. It's a really long star title.
Now, the theory of this being a movie within the Batman universe, I get it, but I just thought, you technically only about a third of this film would be that movie, because that would mean that in this film that they're showing, everyone knows who Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson and stuff are, because a majority of this film is about them.
Well, so that's what I was going to say. Instead of, and I don't hate Dalton's idea as as a sketch, but for an actual movie, instead you open that next movie or have some moment in it where some interviewer is interviewing Bruce Wayne and says something about, what'd you think about the Batman and Robin movie, and him being like, me as Batman, that's ridiculous. Just blowing it off, just completely being like, that's a silly idea.
Hope someone got fired for that blunder.
And so so there you go. So then your villain then needs to be Hugo Strange, right? Ooh. It needs to be a guy who then takes it and runs with it and goes, wait a fucking second.
Maybe he is
Batman. Why has nobody been considering that this is the case? And then you could bring, you've already done the Riddler in that quote unquote universe. So I don't know if you want to do that, but you could bring in Hugo Strange for sure. That might be fun. Some version of him and somebody who really ties to Batman's past. So maybe that's your Hush movie. I don't know.
I mean,
Scarecrow, maybe.
You could have Scarecrow, because that whole fear toxin, with the hallucinations and stuff. I mean, you could do anything with that. I thought, I really thought that, and I can't remember Cillian Murphy, I thought did a good job as Scarecrow.
They didn't do
They didn't do enough, though. He was great in the first movie, and then he just cameoed in the two after it. But he was pretty good in the first one. Anyway, we can't sit here and talk about Batman and Robin all night. And why would we want to? I think Uma Thurman was very attractive in this movie.
Not as attractive as Arnold. Again, that robe he was in, it was all blue because ice.
How big those slippers were? Those slippers were huge.
Why were his teeth all lit up?
Because it was cold.
Oh my God.
Would you like to? Normally, this is where I'd ask if you'd like to read more from your book, but now I'm going to ask, would you like to change your review?
Nope.
I locked in my vote.
Have to change stick with it.
Yeah, I locked in my vote, and I still say there were some things in this movie I didn't hate. Not in this. Don't talk to me about it anymore. We're gonna finish it here. We'll be back on Friday with another Extras and Epilogues with Cody for real this time, with a movie that I did enjoy. I'll say it now. I won't tell you my rating, but I did enjoy Major Payne. I think you're going to like it too.
I was going to, and then I realized it wasn't tonight's movie. So
it is a 90s comedy. It really is. And I enjoyed it. It's not high comedy, but it's good. Tomorrow I think we're going to be back with a Pokemon thing, maybe. It's
that's the word.
You're not going to be there.
Not be around for that one. Yeah, but AD tomorrow is meant to be a Pokemon retrospective. And when I said I wouldn't be around, I assumed there'd be like, oh yeah, we'll see what we're doing. And Lindsay immediately was like, that's fine, I got this one. All right, well, thanks Thank you for this.
Well, it is Thanksgiving tomorrow, and you know,
that's true. Yeah, folks are gonna be busy
tomorrow. I'm gonna tell you all the things I'm thankful for. But if you don't listen to tomorrow's episode, say it now. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there in Podzilla 1985, and to the memory that I'm inevitably going to see tonight at about 12:05 a.m. from the last Thanksgiving. My message to myself from a couple years ago is fuck off, clown.
Also, we should mention that this coming Friday, once we recover Major Pain with Cody, and that is the last Nostalgic November poll, which means after that we are officially moving into December, our double feature for December, because the last month of the year is all double features.
It's pretty much
or last 3 months. I mean,
it's pretty much probably going to be double features going forward.
I mean, there's a strong possibility.
Yeah.
So for December, it's both Christmas movies and, you know, last year it had been a good year. We had Michael Biehn movies. This year it's going to be a very cagey Christmas. So it's 4 selected Nicolas Cage movies as voted on by you, the fans. At this point, we can officially say what they are. We just can't say in what order they're airing. So we will be watching, for Christmas movies, by the way, we will be watching A Christmas Story. We'll be watching Krampus.
Yeah.
We'll be watching Die Hard. And we'll be watching A Muppet Christmas Carol.
Hell yes.
And then for Nicolas Cage films, the selected films were National Treasure.
One thumb down.
Raising Arizona.
One thumb
Stop
up.
it.
Oh, sorry.
Con Air and Face Off are the 4 that won the votes. So
we're gonna take
we'll
his
tell you more
face
about that Friday.
off.
Take his face off.
Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with an all-new episode, and if you don't catch us tomorrow, happy Thanksgiving. Dalton, what do you guys have on a tap over there on Nerdiest Part of the Ropes?
We're returning in January.
Oh,
we have not recorded since August.
All right. Well, that means you can look forward to Dalton Anthony being on more episodes in the future as his schedule suddenly became open. Okay. Welcome back, Dalton.
Hey, put me on a good movie for once, fuckers.
Tell your family to stop getting sick. Yeah.
I didn't pick any of them. Well, I picked this one.
Pick this one.
Wait, are we still doing Shit Fuck September eventually? Because I know Ready to Rumble is on YouTube.
Oh, that's so far away. We can't do that. The balcony is closed. We'll see you. We'll see you after the fact. Hunter, I don't know who to send it to. I feel like Dalton should have to get the last word because this was his fault. So, go ahead, Dalton.
The first cold pun that comes to mind that we haven't already said on the show yet. Go.
I have nothing. It's chilly in here? I don't fucking know.
It's chilly in here. Hold on, I got a button for that.
Let's see. Mr. Freeze cold puns. There's got to be something we haven't talked about yet, right? There's got to be at least one that we didn't mention yet.
The one where the cop says, please have mercy.
No. Chill.
Fine.